Hi everyone, my name is Maya Indriastuti. I am from Faculty of Economic Universitas Islam Sultan Agung, Semarang, Indonesia. I would like to present about my conceptual paper entitled Ownership Structure and Corporate Social Responsibility Disclosure. Background of the study: the companies need to balance their financial and non-financial goals to act in the best interest of society, the natural environment, their employees, and their customers. CSR has become one of the standard business practice in today's era, where companies have recognized the effect of social pressure on their activities and operation. CSR makes companies' behavior more accountable to stakeholders and is subject to intense scrutiny from the public, not just shareholders and creditors. CSRD is a disclosure made by companies in fulfilling their responsibilities in the economic, environmental, and social fields without putting aside the interests of investors in earning profit, according to Degan, Kosnier et al. CSRD can continue to develop through ownership structures that include institutional, managerial, government, and foreign ownership. Problems formulation. Agency problems arise in Latin America and some ASEAN countries because of the mismatch of interest between minority and majority shareholders. The controlling shareholders can influence management decisions in determining company policy. Therefore, the majority shareholders is the actual controller instead of management. It makes them behave in opportunistic ways such as diversity corporate wealth for their benefit. So, the problem is the first, does institutional ownership has a positive effect on corporate social responsibility disclosure? The second is, does foreign ownership have a positive effect on corporate social responsibility disclosure? And the third, does government ownership has a positive effect on corporate social responsibility disclosure? Grand theory. The first is agency theory. Agency theory describes that concentrated ownership in the hands of shareholders can lead to information asymmetry with other shareholders, according Jensen and McLean, 76. Majority shareholders, such as the government, try to control the company by not sharing useful information with minority shareholders, Selvier and Wisny. Information asymmetry arises from various sources, such as concentration of ownership in several shareholders, weakness or absence of high levels of regulation, poor managerial performance, and irresponsible managers, from Dallas and Manhattan. The second is legitimacy theory. According to Degan, asserted that legitimacy theory is an idea that describes that there is a social contract between an organization and the environment in which the organization operates. Social and environmental reporting disclosure is a way companies can achieve good performance for the public and investors. The disclosure helps the company to get a good image and recognition. It will also attract domestic and foreign investment or investors. Hypothesis development. The first is the effect of institutional ownership on corporate social responsibility disclosure. Institutional ownership is a group of special shareholders with larger shares and voting rights. This group does not only look at the short-term return in the companies but also concern the company's long-term performance. A way to increase is through good management practices such as CSR actions. Therefore, institutional investors will fully support the CSR initiative. So, my first hypothesis is there is a positive effect between institutional ownership and level of the CSR disclosure in the annual reports of manufacturing companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange. The second is the effect of foreign ownership on corporate social responsibility disclosure. Greater foreign ownership is generally associated with a stronger foreign influence. Many foreign investors, including multinational business, tend to undertake CSR with a different value and broader knowledge related to their foreign market exposure. Besides, foreign investors are aware of social responsibility. Geographical separation between management and owners lead to the disclosure, including CSR disclosure. In addition, foreign directors selected to represent foreign owners on the board can add value and diversity to the experience because of their different backgrounds and cultures. They are expected to support CSR initiatives and disclosures. So my second hypothesis is there is a positive effect between foreign ownership and the level of CSR disclosure in the annual report of manufacturing companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange. My last hypothesis is the effect of government ownership on corporate social responsibility disclosure. Government ownership is when the government owns shares in the company. Government ownership positively affects adequate information disclosure. A high percent of government ownership can lead to more excellent monitoring and improved governance due to the government's monopoly on judicial power. The government's unique roles as a strong and judicial owner provides opportunities for enhanced government through extensive monitoring and direct enforcement. The Asia Development Bank reported that concentrated ownership affects the effectiveness of participation mechanism among shareholders when voting on the board of directors. It involves transparency and corporate social disclosure and is reflected in shareholders' protection. A high percent of government ownership will lead to conflict of interest between the majority of minority shareholders. It is consistent with agency theory that government ownership tries to control management and is involved in management activities. It leads to limited access to information from the other shareholders. Agency theory also suggests that when shares are widely held, managers can voluntarily disclose information to reduce agency conflict with owners. The previous studies indicate that organizational blockholders perform high disclosure because the organization has more experience in monitoring managers, which is reflected in higher quality information. My third hypothesis is there is a positive effect between government ownership and the level of CSR disclosure in the annual report of manufacturing companies listed on Indonesia Stock Exchange. This is our figure 1 empirical research model. Method and procedure. The first is about population and sample. The population in this study comprise all LG45 companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange in 2010 until 2019. The characteristics of sample selection in this study are as follows. The first is LG45 companies listed on Indonesia Stock Exchange, LG45 companies that present financial statements during the study period. The third, LG45 companies that have complete data and information during the observation period. And the last, LG45 companies that have foreign ownership more than 5%. The second about research setting. This research belongs to causality research, which tests hypotheses related to the causality relationship between one or more variables with one or more other variables. The research model developed is expected to explain the causality relationship between the variable analyzed and make research implications for the development of science, method, and techniques for solving problems. This study focuses on empirical testing of a model developed based on fundamental theoretical model, identify and integrating determinant variable of GSRD. GSRD involves the ownership structure. The third about measurement method. The problem in this research is formulated into a simultaneous model. This model is formed by the dependent variable which is explained by or more independent variables. The dependent variable in this study is GSRD, proxied by the GSRD score. The independent variable in this study is the ownership structure, consists of institutional ownership, foreign ownership, and government ownership. The fourth is corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility disclosure uses indicators of standard from the Global Reporting Initiative. We can get the GRRI from the website. And then Global Reporting Initiative is a reporting framework used to make sustainability reporting with 141 disclosure items covering the theme economic, environmental, labor practice, human rights, society, and product responsibility. Institutional ownership. Abdel, Cox et al., Graves and Woodcock, Johnson and Greening demonstrated the institutional ownership is the proportion of shares owned by the institution, non-individual ownership, to the total outstanding shares. This is the formula about institutional ownership. And then foreign ownership. Foreign ownership is the percent of company stock ownership by foreign investor. Foreign ownership is measured by a formula in below. And then government ownership. Government ownership is when the government owns share in a company. This is a formula to get a government ownership. Data collecting plan. The type of data used in this study is secondary data sourced from website EDX. The secondary data is in annual reports from companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange from 2010 until 2019. Data analysis plan. The data analysis technique of this study is structural equation modeling based on partial least square, with a regression equation consists of outer model equation. This is three exogenous latent, variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3. And then consists endogenous latent variable 1. Other outer model equation, there are inner model equation. That's my presentation. Thank you everyone. See you and goodbye.